Hello, everyone. Hope you're having a great day. At least, hope you're having a better day than Bitcoin is doing right now. Today's live stream is going to be about some bear market strategies, as well as some projects that I'm looking at to accumulate on major dips as well. So, I know the title does say DCA day and the best coins to accumulate right now, but I have to discuss these strategies because dollar cost averaging isn't about just buying coins whenever you see a dip. It's all about approaching the market in an intelligent manner. And you really want to avoid trying to catch a falling knife. Just because the market is dipping doesn't mean you just throw all of your funds in. So, if you'd like to understand some of these best strategies to help you be successful in the crypto space, as well as good projects that you can accumulate on the dip, then be sure to stick around for this whole live stream. And guys, thank you so much for joining. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. This is going to be a very beneficial live stream for so many people. There's going to be a lot to learn in today's live stream. So let's get right into it. First of all, I'm going to address some comments. Bob, it's a great pleasure to have you here. I know I haven't been live for a long time, so seeing you here on this live stream means a lot to me, as well as soothing body and mind. It's great to have you here as well. Khalid Said, it's always a pleasure to have you here, brother. I appreciate you. So let's get right into it. Bitcoin is not having a great day today. There's a major dip right now. The total market is down by 3.49%. So that's a big dip across all of crypto projects. And while many people might be scared right now, this could be an opportunity for some because most of the time, if you've been following me on my channel, I do talk about low cap gems a lot. But whenever there are major dips like this, I tend to look at mid caps as well as high caps because that gives you the opportunity to invest in projects that have very solid fundamentals and have been tested in the markets, but at lower, much lower and better prices. So now that Bitcoin is down, you can see right here the fear and greed index is neutral. Last month we were on greed, and you can see it right here. The fear and greed index, we're on neutral right now, but last month we're on greed, and this is very important because market sentiment. I don't do technical analysis, but I prefer sentiment analysis. Right? I think understanding how the market behaves in terms of buying and selling pressure can help you time these Bitcoin movements very accurately. And you would see here the charts would agree with me. You can see here there's a chart here, Bitcoin's price color coded by fear and greed index. You can see that during areas with major fear, those were good times to buy, good buying opportunities because Bitcoin went on to come up here. You would see some major greed, and then those are usually times good times to sell. You see here major fear, extreme fear, extreme greed. So just like Warren Buffett's statements, be fearful when others are greedy and be greedy when others are fearful. That holds very true with Bitcoin. So I think the market is neutral now. I wouldn't be rushing to buy any project right now. Why? Because we're still neutral, but I will be looking to get some exposure to some projects that you might have missed out on a good entry on. You can also be looking to get some exposure to projects that you believe you want to increase your holdings on that project, and that's the importance of DCA. But before we go into what projects that we are going to dollar cost average in. For those of you who don't know, what the point of dollar cost averaging is to be able to spread your investments across a long duration of time. That's where you lower your overall entry or you have a better average. So what dollar cost average means is at fixed amounts of times you put in a particular amount of investment, not necessarily a particular amount. Take for example, for the month, if you are DCAing every month, last month we're on grid. So the amount you decide to DCA in July might not be as much as the amount you DCA in August. Take for example, in August we are on neutral right now, so you put in a middle ground amount. in the months where we are on extreme greed, you can decide to increase the amount that you decide to dollar cost average. So the point of dollar cost average is you are not timing the market, you're just spreading your investment across some period of time. So timing the market greatly is a much better strategy than trying to time the market. Timing the markets is better than timing the market. So as for the reason why Bitcoin is down today, there are several factors. I mean, if you look at this Cointelegraph article right here, the US dollar, the index is at its highest point since October 2022. So close to a year now is experiencing some good gains, and that means investors are feeling more comfortable moving their investments away from riskier assets like Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. So 30K has been a very difficult level for Bitcoin to maintain, and since July, we've been experiencing some kind of downward movement. The next support for Bitcoin is around 27,500, according to the charts and technical analysis. So I'm not overall, I'm not bearish. I think Bitcoin is still not going to go below 25K, but for the rest of the year, there might still be some slow downward movement. So definitely not something to panic about. It's not something that you should be too you should be falling all around. I think Bitcoin is still going to do very well, especially considering the fact that the halving is coming around middle of next year. So the bull run, to me, in terms of the market cycle, we're still in a good point for accumulation, and now might be presenting a good time for us to accumulate. So in today's live stream, I'm going to share some high caps because I don't cover high caps that much anymore. I'm always targeting the low caps, but when there are major dips, I'm going to cover some high caps. And one high cap that I think is presenting a good opportunity for accumulation right now is Singularity Net AGX. Now, the reason why I like Singularity Net AGX is because I'm still bullish on artificial intelligence, and I really think Singularity Net is the best in that field, not just because it's a good project by itself, but because of the ecosystem that they are building all around it. Singularity Net hasn't even a major bull run yet. And so I think this narrative is going to kick off in the coming bull run. There's going to be so much hype and so much interest with artificial intelligence. We've already gotten a taste of it. So when the bull run comes, I think this project is going to perform very well. The ecosystem, like I said, is expansive. Many AI projects are building using Singularity Nets as using the minds behind Singularity Net. You can see some examples here. We've got Hypercycle, we've got Singularity DAO, Cogito, very good projects, Sophia Verse, Rejuve AI, and so on. So Singularity Net at this price, it's got a market cap right now of $230 million. I think this could be a good opportunity for us to accumulate at these prices. You can see that it had an all-time high market cap of 650 million earlier this year, so it's quite down from that point. But in the bull run, I think it can actually reach billions of dollars in market cap. So Singularity Net is over a 5x. I'm seeing it's going to over a 10x in the bull run. Now might be a good time to gain some exposure to projects like Singularity Net. Don't just look at Singularity Net, look at the ecosystem as well. Projects, if you believe, you want to get some low cap opportunities, I think Singularity DAO, Hypercycle, Cogito, Sophia Verse, and Rejuve, those are very good examples of projects. They are all doing unique things, but the parents body Singularity Net, investing in it would give you that added layer of reduced volatility, that added layer of security to your investments in terms of investing in AI as a narrative. So that's my first pick for today. I think this is a very good example of a high cap that you should be paying attention to. So when I say DCA day, I'm not saying that you should just put all of your money at once. I'm saying even if you don't want to get some exposure to it right now, maybe pay attention to it. If it goes lower than it is right now, you can decide, oh, okay, now might be a good time for me to get some, or if you have zero exposure, now might be a very good time to get some exposure to Singularity Net. The next project is one that I'm a big fan of, and I haven't covered in a very long time, but anything less than $100 is a steal for me when it comes to quant. Now, there are several reasons why I like quant. The major reason being that it has a lot of regulatory compliance with it. It's an ISO 222 crypto. So hello, hope the network was misbehaving. So that really makes quant a very attractive investment, in my opinion, because in the next bull run, I think one of the major challenges that a lot of projects would be facing is a lot of fraud from regulatory pressure. So one of the reasons why quant is a very good pick, in my opinion, is that we've seen an example of how this project caters to institutional adoption. We've seen example of how this project caters to institutional investment. Earlier this year, the Bank of England in projects Rose Gold, something like that. Let me bring that up. They chose Quant as a platform for as a chosen platform and blockchain for issuing their CBDCs. So this is a project that is not only useful in the decentralized world, but Web2 investors can find their technology relevant. I think Quant is quite undervalued, highly deflationary. It's got very limited supply, 14 million tokens in circulation, and 40 million tokens in total, and 80% of that in circulation. So 12 million tokens in circulation. I think Quant is definitely a project that can do very well in the long term. And like I said, anything less than $100 for me, I think is a good point for accumulating some quants if you haven't done so already. If you have a target of 100 quant tokens or 1,000 quant tokens, averaging it around $100 seems to be good to me. It could go a bit lower than this. It could go to $80. Who knows? That's the point of DCA. But considering the way the market has been behaving for the past month or so, quant has gone down quite a bit. So for those who have been waiting for some time to get into this project, what I'm saying is, yeah, now might be a good time to consider dollar cost averaging with quant. Solid projects, good fundamentals, definitely one that could see a lot of institutional adoption. It also has interoperability, something that I'm super bullish on. Its approach to interoperability is that it has an over-ledger operating system. Made lots of video on Quant. You can go check it out. The third high cap is XDC network. Now, I really like this one too for very similar reasons with quants. Recently, we saw a very big pump with XDC, and that was because the bank in Japan, the financial institutions in Japan chose this as the form of as their blockchain of choice. So you can see here on the monthly, XDC network is up 71%. Now, this is a project that I myself and Crypto Grinds have been talking about, and we really like it. There are several things I like about XDC network. It's hybrid, it's a hybrid blockchain, meaning it's mainly uses proof of stake consensus mechanism, but the finality has some proof of work that would prevent bots from with Solana. So XDC has very good tech behind it, and not only does it have good tech, it's also regulatory compliance. It has a very strong focus on that. I think this would make this project go far. It's a layer one. It's its own blockchain. I think layer ones presents good opportunity for earning. You see it with projects like Casper recently. Now we're seeing it with XDC. I think layer ones present a very good opportunity, especially if they are approaching problems from unique perspective or approaching it from new angles. XDC network is a hybrid. It's got both public and private blockchain platform, combining transparency of public blockchains with speed and security of private networks. So something that's strong tech behind it and could be useful for institutions to adopt. That makes me bullish on this project, and I think on dips like this, on bearish days like this, is worth paying attention to. $802 million in market cap, so not even up to a billion. But considering it's a layer one, I mean, you could be looking to get some exposure to a project like this. I'm going to quickly address these comments here. XDC's tokenomics aren't the best, but the utility is great. I agree. Yeah. The tokenomics of XDC aren't the best. It's got what? Let's say 13, 13 billion in circulation right now, and out of 37 billion in total supply. The maximum supply isn't doesn't have any data available um on coin market cap. So I think the best approach to projects like this, and this is very interesting because I'm going to be sharing with you a low cap that could have some challenges like this. But the best approach with a project like this is seeing whether the demand would outweigh the amount that is being released or being put vested in public. So yeah, very good concern. Thanks for bringing this up, bro. I really appreciate you, Marvin, for putting that on my radar. So I'm going to be going to the next project, and that's a mid cap. Now, this project has not been performing well, but I'm willing to bet that it will do well in the bull run because this is a project that has been tested and it did extremely well in the previous bull run. This is a mid cap gem, and that's Cardano. Cardano is a proof of work layer one blockchain, and I've made several reasons why I believe layer ones are going to do very well. It's a fresh idea, and people always look for challengers like to other layer ones that are existing. So Cardano has had its run, but I'm willing to bet is a bit oversold. It's gone so low from its previous all-time high. It's quite embarrassing. You'd see Cardano is about 99% down from its all-time high in the previous bull run. But considering it's a proof of work, this means that it's going to face much less regulatory issue. I'm really hammering on this point of regulatory issues attacking crypto projects. And the reason for this is because there are far more eyes on crypto now than there was ever before. And these cryptocurrencies are going to represent a big challenge. The governments and the SEC and institutions, they're going to want to make way for their own cryptocurrencies. They're going to want to draw lines. So projects that are commodities and not securities is going to be much clearer for proof of work cryptos that they are commodities and not securities, right? And Cardano is one of the few proof of work that is really good, is addressing the trilemma in its own unique way, a proof of work blockchain that combines the proof of work consensus mechanism from Bitcoin with directed acyclic graph, DAG. So this is going to be big in my opinion, and it's also much more scalable than Bitcoin. It's got its own smart contract capabilities. I think Cardano is definitely going to do well. Not the best economics, especially at this price, at this market cap, 24% in circulation. But I'm willing to bet that if this project were to go back to its previous all-time high of $3.5 billion, right now is at 113 million. That's about what, a 30x, close to a 30x from this point. So this is a mid cap that has been tested, and people have seen how it's performed in the previous bull run. I think the ecosystem that has been built around it, the institutions that have used it, they can easily come again and aid adoption of this project. So Cardano is one that I think will do well in the bull run. It's one of my favorite proof of work out there now. And seeing it at these prices, seeing how low it is compared to how it was in the previous bull run, I think now might be some good time to accumulate some. I'm not saying all of your portfolio, but getting some exposure wouldn't really hurt, in my opinion. So yeah, let's take a look at their website. You'd see there are not too many projects, but the ecosystem has about 54 projects, and that's quite impressive. At least it means this project is actually being used out there. It's not just all talk, it's not just concepts, but it's actually being used. It's proof of work, it's secure, it's got a smart contract, and it's highly scalable. So I'm bullish on Cardano, and I think it can do well in the coming bull run. So those are the high caps and mid caps, and now I'm going to touch on some low caps. But first, let me address some comments here. Yeah, Hector. Yeah, I've shared four now. I've shared Singularity Net, I've shared Quant, XDC, and Cardina. I think those are good projects that are at good dips to buy on. It's Adnan. I appreciate you for coming. Yeah, I will review Planet Sandbox. I've seen several of your comments on my videos. Hopefully today I will get to Sandbox. I will get to you on this project. So thank you so much for watching my videos. I really appreciate your support. So Planet Sandbox, yeah, super reliable microcap, 100x or 1000x gems for DCA at very cheaper prices. Yes, just stick around. I'm going to share some and make some announcements. Michael, it's good to have you here. I'm doing great. I'm doing great. So I'm going to quickly share my opinion on Saycoin. Well, I won't pretend to know about it. The only thing I know about Saycoin is some people are a bit upset about the airdrop. They aren't really happy about the way the airdrop was handled. So probably because they didn't receive their tokens in time. Check. I'm going to check on Saycoin, and on Saturday when I come live again, I will give my review on it, hopefully. Hello, my friend, one of my earliest supporters. It's good to see you here. Good day from Africa here. What are your thoughts on Copiosa and BioCrypt? Okay, hopefully I'm going to get to that. So let's move on to the low caps and what projects am I looking into. So there's a project that I shared recently that I found really interesting, and that's Nuco Clouds. You would see there's a theme with my picks today. And one of the major ideas that I've been banking on today, I've been hammering on today, is that I'm looking for projects that have strong focus on regulatory compliance. And Nuku Cloud is one of them. It's got its base in Germany, and it was literally funded by a government agency in Germany, one of the few crypto projects to do that. And is within a narrative that I'm bullish on. You can check out my most recent video where I talked about why I'm bullish on this project. So it's also on a big dip, down 16% today. But the reason why I think this project is really good is decentralized cloud computing is going to be a big deal, because the nature of decentralized cloud computing ties in so well with how the blockchain works. I mean, if you look at projects like RNDR, right now, RNDR is sitting at $580 million in market cap. Nuco Cloud right now is sitting at $4.3 million in market cap. So just to give you an idea, Nuco Cloud is more than 100, about 120x down from where RNDR is sitting. But what makes Nuco Cloud different from RNDR? On their website, you would see they are not afraid to talk about that. They are talking about the competition. Nuco Cloud, in comparison with Amazon Web Services, in comparison with Microsoft, RNDR token, Akash, and Internet Computer. Mind you, I'm a big fan of RNDR token. I'm also a big fan of Akash Network. I'm actually a very big fan of decentralized cloud computing, because there's just so much untapped computational power that is resting. Maybe you are a gamer and you are a student, and your CPU, you don't use it. It's kind of like mining, but a different way of mining. Why not put your CPUs and your GPUs to work and earn passive income while at it? So I think this is a revolutionary way to earn passive income. A decentralized cloud computing is useful for video rendering, it's useful for data analysis, it's useful for scientific research. So the narrative just ties in so well with crypto. And now we've got there are very few projects that do that. We've got Okta. Okta is one of the projects that I'm going to cover today. Okta does decentralized cloud computing well, and is its own layer one blockchain. Not only does it do decentralized cloud computing, it's got this decentralized browsing and DVPN. So I'm bullish on that layer one. another low cap that we'll cover today. But we've got very few decentralized cloud computing blockchain tools, and I think Nuko is going to be one of the better ones out there. It's got good price ranges, good incentives. The miners earn up to 70% of the rewards from using it, and I like the idea of the project. So this is one that I think um, is going to do well in the next bull run. The next low cap that I think you should take advantage of on major dips is RVF. So this is a project that for me I think is a no-brainer, will perform very well in the bull run because it's just so easy to use. It's just solving a problem that many people in crypto are facing, and that's so many options. We've got over 300 centralized and decentralized exchanges that RVF is bringing all together into one platform. So, take for example, there's a project that you're interested in, but it's on the Solana network. But all what you have is on BNB, is on the Binance Smart Chain. So instead of first sending it over to Binance, like I usually do, I first send it over to Binance, then convert it to Solana, then send it over to the Solana blockchain. The Rocket Exchange, the RVF Exchange, makes it so easy. So I really don't want to turn this live stream into shilling different low caps, but I have very strong conviction. I'm sharing that with my audience. I have very strong conviction with the RVF projects, with the Rocket Exchange. I think it can easily reach $1 billion in market cap. So right now it's sitting at 20 millions, about $21 million in market cap. So close to a 50x from this point. I was literally talking about this project at less than $7 million in market cap. So it's about 3x up from that point. It went all the way to 40 cents. So I think it can go more. I think it can go much higher, especially when the bull run comes and people are bullish and there's just so much activity with crypto. It also has good tokenomics as well. So even if you're waiting, personally, I think 20 cents is a good point to get into this project again. Right now it's at 28 cents. If you just want to check your FOMO and have more control over your emotions, well, it's 14% down. You could decide to gain some exposure to it. So yeah, I've talked about RVF a lot. Just browse through my videos. Most of the top 10 or top low cap gems to hold in my most recent videos for the past 2 months, you would see RVF and why I'm bullish on it. So yeah, the question, very interesting question here from Bob. It says that you don't understand how you make passive income from cloud computing. Well, the way cloud computing work is you lend your GPU or CPU computational power for the blockchain, kind of like mining, and then you get rewarded with the fees from people who are lending the computational power. So it's here. You can see it right here. Let me bring up the image. So 70% of those profits from the platform, from people coming to the Nuco Cloud platform, will be shared with the people lending the computational power. 20% of those fees are used to cover maintenance costs and 10% to support this research. And right here you can see how do you purchase the computational power. You either use dollar or you use the NCDT tokens. So you by lending computational power, people who are using the platform, take for example, instead of buying a brand new computer, I worked for a long time as a data analyst for geophysical data. So instead of buying a computer to run geophysical data, if it's far and in between, like maybe you do it twice a month, instead of buying a dedicated hardware just for that, why not lend computational power to solve your problem, and then you wait until when you need it? It's kind of like um, taking an Uber instead of buying a brand new car. And if you have GPU units or CPU units lying around, why not use it to process people's computational file and earn 70% of the reward that the platform shares to people who learn that. So it's a very good way of just keep the GPU running and solving high computational calculative tasks, very similar to mining, but earning passive and earning from it. The reason why it ties in so well with the blockchain is because you are accessing people all over the world. Nuclear Cloud is doing it from the cloud. You're accessing people all over the world. There is no barrier to entry. There's no limits. So whether the person is in France or in Canada or in Japan or in the Republic of Guinea, you can tap into whatever computational power that people on the blockchain are choosing to learn. So automatic distribution, monetization, sustainability, monetizing your hardware, scalable, consumer friendly, cost efficient, secure, and reliable. I think Nuclear Cloud is a great example. We've also got a cash network. That's another decentralized cloud computing that I'm bullish on. So the idea of decentralized cloud computing is one that ties in very well with crypto. Akash is even doing quite well compared to a lot of projects on the deep today. Then we've also got RNDR. RNDR is the top performer in this space, because of the whole AR, VR thing. So learning computational power has so many use cases. Another one that I mentioned that I'm going to cover today is Okta. So Okta combines this idea of decentralized cloud computing with being its own blockchain, with being its own layer one. So I think it's quite interesting. A fresh idea, 43% in circulation, $10 million in market cap. Not only does Okta Space do decentralized cloud computing very well, it's also has security and privacy and all of the other things about layer ones that are popping up these days, environmental considerations, scalable, and all that. So I think Octaspace is going to also, I think the fact that it's a layer one that is created with all of these things built around it, a decentralized mesh VPN in addition to decentralized storage, decentralized cloud computing, highly scalable, makes it a very attractive layer one that an ecosystem can grow around. So sitting at $10 million in market cap, it would have been much better as usual to find it as lower market caps. But right now, it has the potential to do a 10x in my opinion, and that's not crazy high but still good enough gains. And who knows, in the bull run it can go much higher. So a fresh layer one. The major challenge with Octaspace that I mentioned in my video was that its accessibility is quite bad. You can find it only on CoinX and Safe Trade. So the best way to get it is very difficult, I think, on centralized exchanges. But the best gains in cryptos can only be made if you are willing to put in some work. So I think Octaspace could be what's gaining some exposure to a unique and fresh layer one that is addressing new and unique problems, decentralized cloud computing, decentralized storage on its own layer one blockchain. So yeah, I'm bullish on that idea. It's quite fresh. So I hope that answers your question, Bob. I'm going to move on to the next project. I was talking about RVF and why I'm still bullish on it, and I think it will do well. Another one that is quite down today is XP Network. XP Network is 7% down on the daily and 9% down today. So, this is a project that ties in very well with the NFT niche. And whenever there's a whenever there's a major dip, I think XP Network is worth paying attention to. I think XP Network is worth accumulating if you see good opportunities for entry. I've talked about XP Network a lot on my channel, and what it's about is simply a blockchain agnostic tool that helps people move over their valuable assets from one blockchain to another. So XP Network definitely is one that will do well as more and more people are using the platform. the main reason why I really like Expo Network is just how much useful it is to so many blockchains. It's not just all talk. The technology behind it is being used actively by major blockchains. We've got Secret Network using it, we've got Tezos using it, we've got VChain, BNB, Telos, so many blockchains that are being used right now, and they are adding more concepts, more interesting idea. Recently, on the 18th, today 17th, so that's tomorrow. Tomorrow they'll be revealing their collaboration with Aurora to review their own sorry, yeah, multi-chain bridging campaign. So more bridging on another blockchain for their own NFTs, right? So I think Expo Network still has interesting developments, good updates. I think with more volume, there's going to be the value of the tokens will continue to increase as the NFT space does well in the bull run. So yeah, those are the projects that I'm going to be covering for today's live stream. I think these are good projects to get in on major dips or to get some exposure to. Real quick recap: we've got Singularity Net, we've got Quant, we've got XDC, we've got Octaspace, we've got Nuco Cloud. I think Nuco Cloud is within a very interesting niche narrative. We've got RVF as well, the Rocket Exchange, a very good aggregator that's bringing in some interesting Hello. Okay. So I'm going to be addressing my very good friend here. It's Adam. He's been asking there for a very long time to review Planet Sandbox, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on it. Planet. Okay, PSB, token ticker PSB. So what can I say about this project? Well, it's got a much better price action. Right off the bat, just 5% in circulation. Let me see. I've made several mistakes before in terms of tokenomics. So I would like to see what CoinGecko, whether it ties in, whether, I want to cross check this data with what's on CoinGecko. Next sandbox. Okay, so PSB over here on CoinGecko, it's not showing us. It's not showing us whether or not. Okay, so this is quite difficult to tell. I'm not sure whether or not the tokenomics are correct, but right now on Coin Market Cap, it's showing that this project has 5% in circulation. You would like to see much better tokenomics, especially with a low cap project, and I think 5% is quite risky. There's going to be a very big worry of inflation. $123 million in market cap. So it's been around for a while. I would consider this to be a mid cap. What's the idea of the project? Planet Sandbox, physics powered NFT, shooting game that allows players to build and own arenas, fight other players in different game modes using your own NFT. Aside from playing the game, sandbox owners can customize their lands with limited building items powered by its PSB tokens and PULV token. Created multiple play to earn opportunities. So, what are the tokenomics like? 100 million tokens in circulation in maximum supply, and 4.3 in circulation. So yeah, 4.3 millions in circulation out of 100 million. Fully diluted market cap of 2.3 million. Oh, I was wrong. Sorry, it's not 123 million. $123,000 in market cap. Okay, so micro cap is a real micro cap. Okay, let's see. The idea is just another gaming project, right? So we have to check the Explorer and see whether there's a worry for inflation. But it's quite impressive that they are listed on Gate.io for a micro cap. Let me see here um, whether there are any wheels to be worried about. Okay, so 14% of the tokens are with Gate.io. That's okay. PancakeSwap has 7%. There's a smart contract here with 7%. The deployer has 3%. So the biggest wallet has 2%. That's $10,000 worth of the token, followed by 1.8%. So there are several 1%, and it's quite easy to create a wallet and try and distribute it. So whenever I see so many 1% following each other, I usually consider it's like it still could be a whale creating multiple accounts to distribute its tokens. So you still need to be careful. There's a bit of a concern with whale activities for this project. It's not, the idea doesn't seem bad. I mean, I like gaming projects. I think gaming projects have a lot of potential, but considering the fact that it's got only 5% in circulation and there are a few whales in it, you have to proceed with caution for this project, my friend. It's an okay idea, but you have to be very careful with the fact that there are whales in it and that there's there's this worry of inflation, just 4% in circulation. Once the tokens gets released, the value is going to be highly diluted. So this is a very, very risky project. But I don't even know if the game works. I've not tested the game. One thing I like to do when dealing with gaming projects is to check for myself if the gaming project is fun and if they have variety. So, from what I read about this project, they seem to have variety. So, they're going to keep the players engaged and it could be fun. I've not tested that myself, but if you're interested in this project, what I will say is proceed with caution, very high risk, a decent play. It's got very few tokens in circulation compared to the total circulation, the maximum supply, and it's also got a few whales, so they could sell and greatly impact the price of this project. But the idea is a good attempt, good variety, and seems like it's going to have a fun gameplay. I need to be able to read deeper into this project, but I'm not going to rush and put in my cash in a project like this. So yeah, that's my quick review on Planet Sandbox. Thanks for coming by, my friend. I appreciate you. Check out Shido. Okay, Shido's major problem. I've checked out this project before. I was interested in it for a while. I think the major issue I have with Shido is the taxation. They have very high buy and sell taxes. I think $8.1 million in market cap, 35% in circulation. You can find it on Uniswap, PancakeSwap. So what they aim to do, Shido is an innovative ecosystem with the next generation DeFi utilities for investors, tokenomics, and it's a strategy. Okay, so I'm not seeing much about the projects from CoinMarketCap. Let me go over to their website. Hopefully, we can quickly look at the white paper. So I think Shido Chain, are they planning to build? Launch a series of, okay, so DeFi tools for investors in the space. That DeFi tools are hit or miss, because the reason why I'm saying that is it could be that they are targeting high level investors, people who really understand the crypto space and they need great technical analysis tools and stuff like that. And projects, there are also DeFi tools that are very simple and cater to the retail masses. I'm more of a fan of the latter because that aids adoption. So the question I'm now going to ask is what kind of DeFi tools is Shido providing? A leading DeFi aggregator, liquidity protocol, and perpetual DEX. I've not really looked into perpetual DEX, but I've gotten several comments. I got one today in my Telegram group asking about the best perpetual DEX. I'm going to look into them. Perhaps there's a reason why people are interested in it. Next generation cross-chain DeFi ecosystem. It's got its own blockchain, wallet, DeFi card, market NFTs. Well, it's quite interesting, honestly speaking. Yeah, this was my major issue with Shido. I really think projects should be able to do well without taxing people that highly. If a project just launches, I can excuse 5% buy and sell tax, a bit of a degen play. But Shido DeFi has been around for too long to still be taxing people 8%. Like, you're punishing people for selling the project. Why would I want to buy it if I know I'm losing 8% of my investment? So yeah, it's not challenge with this project. If I recall checking it earlier this year. So I'm going to look deeper into it. Perhaps it could still be worth your time and investments, but not a big fan of the taxation with Shido DeFi. So yeah, thank you so much for joining me, guys. I really appreciate you. Not too much to panic about, in my opinion, with Bitcoin. And you know volatility is a normal part of crypto. There isn't any particular bearish or bad news. It's just, the only reason I can see is um, people people finding the US dollar as a safer form of investments now with all of the good news. So, but major dips are good opportunities to accumulate. So yeah, I've shared some of those with you guys. I really appreciate all of you for joining me, and I hope to see you next time. Stay safe and take care, guys. Bye bye.